So just today, The Chosen released a video with all the cast basically reacting to the last scene of The Chosen season 4, kind of talking about their thoughts about what's kind of going on here. Let's check this out and see what they thought. Here we go.
Headed towards doom.
We've come this far, for better or worse, like we're all here in it together.
Yeah, it's crazy.
We are here, we're about to watch the last scene of season 4, which is actually one of my favorite scenes to film because we were all together and we didn't have to do very much.
So they didn't have to do very much because obviously Jonathan had most of the lines here, if not all the lines here actually. And then just a few of them had some moving parts here with obviously Allah, who plays Simon Z, and then some others pulling out some stuff, getting the donkey ready, that kind of thing. Most of the other people are just kind of standing there, giving expressions with their faces and seeing what's going on.
Quite iconic, right? Jesus comes in on the donkey. Yep, and the group, they're all heading to Jerusalem.
We got so much to talk about. So, I mean, let's get into it.
Let's do it.
I think that's probably an overstatement. I don't think they have that much to talk about in this scene. There's nothing super biblical that's happening here in order to break down in terms of that. But there are some cool moments here. Let's talk about what they think from the acting point of view here.
That's you.
That bag is so resourceful.
Mary Poppins' bag.
It's very true. Even in this scene here, you see that he pulls out this gigantic box, which has the bridle in it. And then you also see him pull out like this big blanket and all this other stuff too, right? So the bag's very, very much larger than it probably should be.
It's so incredibly sad to think of a mother knowing where she's leading her son to.
I will say, I would bet that Amber was very intentional in wearing this shirt for a shoot like this. Remember, a lot of the cast and crew have disagreements with the fans about a lot of different things. I think this is probably her way of saying, hey, it's okay that we disagree. Let's move on, basically, which is quite interesting from my perspective.
And the music too, I would say, like you just know they're headed towards doom.
The music's great here. I think the guys that compose the show have done an amazing job. Really, really amazing job.
I'm telling you, there's the entire home in that bag.
It's quite a poignant point that Allah makes there. It's like there's an entire home in that bag. You know, the Son of Man has no place to rest his head, right? And so that makes a lot of sense that Jesus would see this as his home, that his home would be something that he would carry with him everywhere he went. It makes a lot of sense, at least biblically, for sure.
That was a one-take thing.
Donkey.
One take donkey bridle action there.
Let's try.
The time has come. I must do the will of my Father in heaven.
Just being friends with Jonathan and knowing what he's going to have to go through performing this and seeing the weight of this role on him is just like devastating.
Yeah, and then put into perspective what the actual apostles and followers of Jesus had to go through, right? I think there was many of them even going into this week that had no idea what was going to happen, right? They had no clue that Jesus was going to die, even though he had told them 3 separate times ahead of time. And he tells them again at the Last Supper and everything that's going to happen there. He even says that Judas is going to betray him, right? But I think they are all still blindsided by it when it happens later that day. And so to be put in a little bit of that perspective, they're seeing what Jonathan is going through just in the acting role for Jesus, right? And seeing the pain that he has to go through. If you don't know, Jonathan is a method actor, which means that he puts himself in the mind frame of the person that he is playing, right? Whether that's Lonnie Frisbee in Jesus Revolution or whether that's Jesus here in The Chosen. And it can get really intense for him to where he's feeling these things that, you know, he's not actually going through, but he has to act as if he was. And so him going through the crucifixion and everything that's going to be happening coming up soon, man, that's going to be extremely, extremely difficult.
You know, it does take a toll on our hearts in a lot of ways, but to get to do it with wonderful people that take care of each other is everything. It's wonderful.
There's like an honor in doing it and a cost. But you can't forget the cost, but it is an honor to be able to bring this to life.
No matter what happens this week, no matter what you see, or feel or think or do. I want you to know that in this world, I loved you as my own. And I will love you till the end.
Yeah, it's mentioned in scripture, that exact line. I have loved them and I will love them till the end.
I was gonna say I just love the shot of Austin and Luke, because I think that kind of wraps up everyone's feelings, because Nathaniel is kind of in a space of like, yeah, of course we're gonna follow you and let's do this. And
yeah, Nathaniel's very resolute. Like he's very blunt, right? So he's kind of like, okay, this is gonna happen. Let's go. Let's do this thing. Whatever happens, happens, and I'm here for the ride. Whereas Judas has a different perspective for sure.
Judas looks down at one point, like, I don't know if you know what you're doing, man, but all right.
And we literally just got stoned.
Yeah.
It's like with rocks.
Yeah.
Throwing at us.
With rocks.
Yeah, it's like we've come this far. For better or worse, like we're all here in it together.
Well, for better, for sure. But whether it's hard or easy is another question, for sure.
This is a good leap.
Big leap.
Nice.
Look at that, the slow-mo.
Smooth.
Yeah, I do love the music here as well, for sure.
It's like we know where it's going. It's very scary and very humbling too. And
that's one thing that I think I would probably disagree on where The Chosen is right now, is how much they knew. Just like I said, like I think many of them are going into this week having no idea what is going to happen, right? And so, yes, the actors know where this is going, but I really believe that most of the apostles had no idea. They were kept from knowing, the scripture says. And so it would be a completely different idea. Going into this week oblivious would be so hard.
And that's why, like you said, it's just holding on to what we have now.
And if one thing you took away from season 4 is that how much it made you appreciate those in your life and those who are here with you still, just like we do now. And so, stop it, Liz. And so knowing that season 4, it's setting us up too. And we become like the biggest advocates of these people who existed that we never kind of had this personal relationship with, and going and studying and learning and embodying them for so many years, it humanizes them, which now I can have appreciation for, like more appreciation for what this truly meant back then.
And what it means now, right? As we see these apostles and the followers of Jesus, who they actually are, right? This is why it's so important for me. Like things like, you guys tease me all the time that I worry about the timeline too much, or, I'm nitpicking too much on The Chosen. But the reason that I do that is because if you change things in history, right, that's going to have consequences for people that see those things. And so if the timeline is changed, for example, you have Christmas in October or in June instead of in December, then this is going to change the story completely, right? It's going to change how things are perceived and how it is seen in history. And so, for example, right, in Dallas's new movie, the Greatest Christmas Pageant Ever, right? Why does he have Christmas on the 25th of December? Why? Why would he do that? Because it's Christmas, right? And an American movie where Christmas is on the 25th of December, this is a really, really big deal. Obviously, we all know that it is. So that's where it lines up, right? So for him, he can't change that date. However, in The Chosen, because people are ignorant, and only because people are ignorant, does it not matter that he's changing these holidays, right? Whereas someone who is informed, someone who knows that, that Passover arrives on this date during this time of year, and then, later on, these other things will happen, or that Hanukkah happens not days before Passover, but months before Passover, right? There's a lot of things that don't really line up perfectly in what should be the correct way of seeing it in The Chosen. That's why I harp on the timeline so much, because these are historical people, because this is a historical story, not just a biblical one, not just a scriptural one, not just a religious one, right? And so that really plays into how I think about the show overall. That's why I'm so focused on the timeline and things like that. I love the mix here with the old and new kind of music here. We've got like a strong electric guitar, but we also have like claps and shakers, kind of like a whip sound, which may be a foretelling of Jesus and what he's talking about too there.
We should announce the names of each disciple that goes past.
Tamar.
Mary Magdalene. Andrew. Thomas. Salome. Jesus. Thunderstruck.
Music is so good.
Cool stuff there. Let me know what you guys thought about that cast reaction. I thought it was interesting overall. We don't normally do too many videos about just the cast or what they kind of talk about these things, but it is interesting from time to time to dive into what they think and jump into that. I'm hoping next week we'll jump back into more season 5 behind the scenes from the Chosen side of stuff, maybe even a bonus video. We'll see when we get there. Anyway, we'll see you guys on the next one.